I remember one person spoke to me when I was in rehab when I first got there, and they said to me, yes, a lot of doors will shut on what you can do, but also a lot of doors will open. So just trying to keep that positive attitude.
What happened for us was that, and I hope the new crop or the younger crop of neurologists would treat this matter differently, but what happened was that my questions, my need to know got totally sidelined. A neurologist basically ignored me. I mean, I would sit there next to Patrick and he wouldn't even look at me, let alone answer my questions. And that's a very, very alienating thing to happen to you when you care intensely about what's happening to somebody like your life partner, and when you want to know so that you know what to do. I can remember him telling us, well, go and get a wheelchair, and you'll need one of those, in a kind of matter-of-fact way, as if, go and get a pound of butter, and because you'll need some for lunch. And we were quite mystified about what was going to be the journey. We didn't even know whether it had an impact on Patrick's life expectancy. But what we did know was that we were going to make the best of things.
So I didn't really know what the whole caring role of cerebral palsy, what was involved. I didn't know how intense it was going to be, or how much caring I had to do, or what was involved. So yeah, I just took it as it came and just did what I did, and that was Kimberly's fully dependent on me to feed her, dress her, give her a drink, change her, shower her, everything.
It's a really hard position to be in because you want to help all the time. Like, I'll see Matt struggling with something and you've got to stop yourself and say, he's an adult, he can do it himself. And that's a really hard position to be in, because as his partner, had he been struggling with that pre-accident, I probably would have helped him as well, whatever it was. And now it's taking that big step back and saying, you have to ask me if you want me involved.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 12 months a year, as far as I'm concerned, from looking after a parent who you weren't expecting to be looking after, and who is too much. And I think I'm a fairly strong person.
A carer's job is not a 9-to-5 job. A carer's job can be 36 hours a day and 11 days a week. You don't go home from caring and just put it down in the corner and leave it there until the next time you toddle off to go down and see the cared. I feel that there should be more there, for the simple reason of the emotional and the physical is far more demanding than if you're doing a 9-to-5 job.
And the poor old carer's there with, carer's allowance, and you just nobody's topped my superannuation up in the last 15 years that I've been doing caring. And then at the end of the day, it's back to New Start allowance, and that means I've either got to look for a job. Now, the sort of work that I had, my ability in what I could do, that's 15 years out of date. Who really would want to employ me to take on that type of job?
I'd applied. First time I applied, we got rejected. Apparently our case wasn't severe enough. 2 boys with severe autism and a mother who was almost dead from depression, but it wasn't severe enough.
I do believe that the government should be supporting then the workplace to enable it to better support carers with the flexibility and the means by which for them to re-enter the workforce if they so wish to.
I hung in there and a year later applied again. Only this time I really socked it to them and I told them everything, like how I was feeling, the whole works. And then they granted us a package. Our social worker for this funding package, was all keen to give us more money, But I said to her, what's the point? You can throw $100,000 at us. It's not going to do anything if I can't get anybody to work with him. So it ended up that there was no provision of service for Jayden, none whatsoever. And the adverse effect of that was that I could not get off of the welfare. I could not get off the welfare system. I'd been on it by then for 11, 12 years. Well, it's 12 years now, so then it would have been around 11 years. But during the course of all these years, I had tried on numerous occasions to get off the pension. I wanted to better our financial situation. I wanted to work. However, I was denied that right.
To be frank, the way in which I actually recognised myself as a carer came in '91 when I had a repetitive strain injury on my right shoulder, and I got into real trouble and had to have well, in those days it was a nursing sister come in to, not a care worker but a nursing sister, and come in for a short period of time and to give me a break. And she, bless her, said, "Would you like us to keep coming?" And I paused long enough to really think and not do what I automatically used to do and still do, is say, "No, I'll be right, I can cope." I paused long enough and I said to her, "Yes, I think that's a good idea." And it was at that time that I recognised in myself that I was doing more. I was doing something extraordinary over and above.
Basically, you're not just caring for someone else, you're caring for a person that has a disability. And with that disability comes all the problems and, you know, all the other things that you've got to deal with, that caring, not just for someone else, means, you know, it's being a person who is totally relied on every day of that other person's life, you know, for as long as. And the word carer needs to be made bigger, you know, needs to be pronounced and recognised more, I think.
Oh, first 5 years when I was really bad, I rang up carers. She said, and she saw me in the room. I started crying. I think that was the day before I made the decision to put Mag into the hospital. For the 5 years, it was all about Mag. How are we going to do Mag? It was nothing about me, and she was the first person that ever said, "How are you?" You know, and I couldn't believe it. I said, "Shit." And then she said, I'm going to come and see you tomorrow. And she came to the house. And from then on, I feel as if she made me a better carer. Because she put me onto the group, and then probably about weeks after that, I was with the group that got started for the Carers Links West. But it was amazing. 5 years of dealing with all these problems, and just for her to say, "How are you? You know, I'm going to come and see you." It was... Yeah, I'll never forget that.
I'm still getting used to it all, watching the world change and wondering if you'll catch my fall. I'm still holding on to a time when everything was much simpler than